hell is going on here, boys?
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. Happy American Thanksgiving to everybody out there. We have a non-original American, but now a converted American and great friend of ours, Trottie, Chris Trott.
Good to be here, boys.
Are you a citizen?
I'm getting there.
Nice.
I'm going to
What
do
does that
it
mean?
for sure. Well, from what I've learned, there's a big thing with inheritance tax. Obviously, you get to vote. Inheritance tax is the other thing, which I have children, so at some point that will become important. And I actually think, and I guess it's the first time I've publicly said this, but I see my future being in the United States.
Wow. Let's go.
Feels that
Trottie.
Welcome, brother.
Welcome, brother. Happy to have you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I might not have
watch
to
some
do,
football.
I might not have to do the citizenship tests now. I've said that on this podcast.
Can you chomping at the bit to vote? You just want to vote for some of this craziness?
Just get involved
Get
with you guys. I
involved.
mean, I'm embracing it. So.
Can you put the Star Spangled Banner underneath him saying that, please? Thank you.
There's actually a lot going on in the world of golf. Since the last time we did a show,
Is this
Tiger
the only
Woods.
show we're doing this week?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
This is the only show we're doing this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Thanksgiving, you know. We're
So I
not,
lied to Michael Morris. I said, you'll be on tomorrow. He big timed us. He said he was supposed to be on the show today, and he said he had to drive his friends home, which is true. Micah said
I didn't do that to you.
No, you did not.
It's because I'm trying
He's
to
a
become
great
an
kid,
American.
by the way. He hits the
Said
ball
can
200.
do.
He hits the ball. What's his ball speed? 200.
Like 193 for
Demented.
cruising.
Absolutely demented. One of the best golfers I've ever seen in real life. That's like not a professional golfer. It's insane, his skill. He was supposed to be on the pod with Trottie. We were supposed to have the whole thing. So he's not here. We just have Trottie today. But I said you'll be on the next episode this week. We don't have one.
no, we don't. Damn.
Amazing.
We can bank it.
We can bank
we'll
it.
do a
Catch
little
him
bank.
another time.
I had to just throw that in there. But
That's fair.
Since the last time we did a show, Tiger Woods has announced that he'll play the Hero World Challenge. The TGL has literally collapsed and been postponed for a year. Paul Azinger out. He's gone. Brooks Koepka has been chirping Live Golf about their schedule.
Yep.
There's just a lot that's happened in the world of golf. Let's start with Tiger Woods. Trottie, you've been a TaylorMade guy for a long time. You've worked with Tiger. You've put out a little podcast with Tiger Woods. What do you think? This guy's coming back next week?
I think, to me, it was expected. Like, he's going to come back. He loves this time of year. We know that. There's a bit of heat not on him to perform. So I think it's a good place to come back, given the tournament he's coming back for. And it's fantastic. Anytime we can say his name in the golf industry, everyone rejoices.
It's the
And
best.
I'm not going to change that tone. It's amazing, Rich.
Yeah. You know, the Hero is the perfect place for him to come back. It's 18 guys, super chill the whole week. It's going to be warm, which is very good for his body.
Yep.
The golf course is pretty flat.
Easy
like you
travel
said,
schedule.
Yeah, he's,
Right there.
20-minute flight on the jet.
Yep.
I'm starting to get a little nervous about my call.
You are about to eat some crow. I think there's no doubt about it.
I am on record saying I don't think he's going to win again. I will say that since those walk videos came out, and there's some murmurs going around that he's really ramping it up. Like he's beating balls and he's playing. That is, for someone who said that he's not going to win. Look, if the guy can walk a golf course, he's Tiger Woods. He's going to find a way. So I'm definitely less confident in that call than I was 2 weeks ago.
I would just say, as a guy that's been forever in the camp of this is obviously always going to happen, that this is just inevitable. What we're witnessing is inevitable. He's Tiger Woods. He's the most impressive golfer in the history of planet Earth. He sits while he watches the Masters tournament, Ricky Fowler with his golf bag right next to him. That's all he wants to do is play golf, play it at the highest level. He talked to Kevin Kisner. Kevin Kisner says that guy's the biggest golf dork I've ever met. That's all he wants to do is talk about golf. He's going to get himself healthy enough. He's going to go out there. He's going to play golf again at the highest level. Phil Mickelson, I know, totally different in terms of the injuries. Phil was 50, almost 51 years old. He won a major championship. Tiger's going to be 48, I believe, here in another month or so. Yes, his years are different than Phil's in terms of the injuries. Phil's got the long loopy swing. Tiger's a little bit more jerky throughout his career, so I understand all that. But the stats still stand. I cannot fathom how someone can look at Tiger Woods and be like, oh, that guy's done. Of course he's not fucking done. The guy's going to come back. He's going to win again. Who knows what we'll see at the Hero? Who knows what we'll see in the Bahamas? I'm not saying he's going to win the Hero, but he's starting to march his way back. The murmurs are that he is moving good, that he's hitting balls.
The murmurs
It's just-
are something.
Oh, yeah.
There's some murmurs going around.
There's some murmuring going
just
on.
echoing what the great Trottie Golf said, we're able to say this guy's name, and there's going to be a time where we don't. There's going to be a time where Tiger Woods is no longer playing golf, and that time is not now. And that's a really special thing, I think. We're going to look back on this time of the greatest golfer to ever play this game, in my opinion, and all the opinions of here. Trottie, do you fall in that category?
Yeah, I'm with you.
You do.
100%, mate. I mean, when you see him up close, like we have,
It's different.
yeah, and it's different whether you're in Dubai, whether you're where we are this week, or whether you're on the West Coast, or whether you're in the UK. It's different, and it's the way it needs to be for that condition and that ball flight and that temperature, That's what makes him amazing. It's a golf game that can go everywhere. It's just incredible, and I completely echo what you're saying.
Yeah, let's keep this echo thing going. If I'm lucky
always
enough,
stress.
Echo chamber is strong.
if I'm
Nice.
lucky enough to make it to my 70s, 80s, who
Unlikely.
knows? Genetics. I don't know.
I'll take 68 right now. I told
80s. If I take it to my
68,
I'd
80s,
sign for 68.
I'm gonna
Wow.
sit around and I'm
Slow.
I'm gonna look around, look at the history of golf and sports. I might be doing some trivia with grandchildren if I'm lucky enough. The whole deal. I'm gonna say that Tiger Woods was the greatest to ever do it. I got to watch him play the game of golf, and we get to do that next week.
Yes.
That is insane. At its core, when you take a step back, this guy's still playing competitive golf. It feels at times that we lost it. Many times with this guy. Like 3 times. Like he was never going to do it again. Back surgeries, drama, ankle, losing his leg, the whole entire deal. Almost losing his leg. And he's still doing it, man. Why? Why is he still pursuing
good
this
question.
fucking
Addicted to
game?
the grind.
Yeah,
He's
he loves
addicted
it.
to it.
This is more than an
I also think
addiction.
he likes proving people wrong. That's a big part of it. Everyone thinks every time something like this happens, he's never going to do it again. There's a bunch of Dan Rappaports all over the world who say he's not going to be able to do this again. And he's like,
Called those guys haters.
I'm just going to do this again, and I'm going to prove them wrong.
I think he is at his happiest between the ropes, and you can see it when he's at an event. He's joking with the guys. He's playing tricks with JT. Like, he just loves being in the mix. He loves playing tournament golf. When you said there was a time where we didn't think... The reason I was saying that I don't think he was going to win is I remember seeing him at Augusta this year after he withdrew. The limp and the pain on his
bad.
face was probably the low point. And then a week later or whatever it was, he gets that surgery, subtalar ankle fusion surgery, which is another fusion, and it's like you begin to think the mountain is too tall to climb, and then you hear these murmurs.
Yeah, I think about this a lot when you hear about like when Tom Brady was playing late. Obviously, he was still incredibly competitive until late. But people, why is this guy still playing in his 40s? Why is this guy? I think like it really does come down to that's what they love to do.
Hell
In the
yeah.
same way that like Frankie, when you're in high school and you're going to a baseball game, like how jacked up were you? You're like that's the Trent with football, me hockey, like Dan. Debate stage, whatever the fuck it was. It's like you get so hyped up for
Chess club.
playing, and I think Tiger just still has that. He still
Were
thinks,
you on
like,
Mathletes?
No, it wasn't a math guy. I was more of a
It's also
debate
you
guy.
find like these.
You were on the debate team.
I did debate.
Oh, you nailed that.
no way, are you really?
Yeah, like middle school.
That's great.
Also,
I'll get ahead of that. I was
great.
in the marching band. I wore a little feather to the football game, so I'll
That's
say
cool,
that.
man.
I also played high school
I had a
golf
feather in the
and
top of my
soccer,
hat.
so
Did you
Playing
really?
fucking
Yeah.
tenor
Yeah.
drums.
Athletes
You
who
get
retire
beaten
get
up
super
with that?
bored.
You must have been.
No, because all my friends were on the field. Like I was still. Yeah, I mean, I probably could have, but I had a
You
good
don't
backing.
do that from where I'm from. let me tell
No,
you.
I was a good drummer, and you had to be in the band. If I wanted to play in the jazz band, I wanted to play the kit, and I wanted to play the drums, I had to be in the marching band. I couldn't give that up.
Nick Cannon and drumline, he was pretty cool. That's a cool spot to be in.
Drumline's great.
I didn't look anything like Nick Cannon.
You were
great
cool.
movie.
I want to see some
No.
pictures of you with the drum. Do you
Yeah,
have pictures with the
Oddly,
drum?
we've never
I
seen
have
any pictures like
horrific
that.
posture and back pain because of that. Dude, they put this thing on my shoulder and it had 5 drums on it. It was 80 pounds.
And
I
you were
used to
probably
walk like
120.
this. I would
You're
nail
walking
it,
like that to
though.
get made fun of,
I would
which is the
nail
funniest
it,
part.
though. I had a little symbol on it. The feather would hit as it went. It was insane.
What a sight.
Nationwide Dealer Network Chevrolet has over 1,900 certified EV dealerships and over 5,550 EV trained technicians. Look, we love Chevy. Everybody knows that.
Yep.
We got Chevy Gear. We went to NASCAR a couple weeks ago. Now they're in the EV game. They've been making EVs for over a decade. They've been making vehicles for over a century. And electric vehicles, they got all the infotainment centers right there. They got all the technology, and they're all electric. There's charging stations everywhere. We love Chevy.
We do love Chevy. It's a great company. It's a great logo. Just go on there. We say this every time, but just go on there. peruse the website,
Chevy.com/electric.
check it out. I bet something catches your eye that you like.
I'm very impressed when I look at the Silverado, when I look at the Blazer, when I look at the Bull, all these iconic models that they've had at Chevy. You go on that link. Again, just go on there. They got like those, a couple of them in the matte blue. They've even got,
So
I
nice.
don't know if I'd call it matte red, but it's like that same kind of silky red color that they've got a bunch of them in.
Beautiful.
So go to that website, check them out. The Nationwide dealership is a true value to consumers because they are there for you with any electric vehicle question. Learn more at Chevy.com/electric.
Where do you guys stand on like Nicklaus versus Woods? I mean, that's always.
I mean,
the
how
thing
much more
for me.
bias? We didn't watch Jack Nicklaus.
I know.
play golf,
I
so
hear you.
I don't
but,
know. It's like
so I ask if we had someone that was 20 years older than us, like where would they stand on it? I mean, honestly, watching Woods in his prime, crazy.
I think he has had the higher ceiling. I think when he's playing his best in those spurts, 99 through 02, 05 through 08, even really like 2012, 2013, I think he played at a level that Jack didn't get to, but you can't ignore Jack's longevity. To be able to do it, he's got more majors, and he's got 17 seconds also. So to just be there every single major championship for 2 decades, it's almost like a different category.
Do you know what gets me with Nicklaus is he turns up every now and again. He did it a week or two ago with Blocky. Turns up, Michael Block's putter, just grabs it, holes the putt, makes it on social media. There's no
Remember the clip when he took Johnny Miller's
the greatest clip.
Yeah.
I think it's the greatest clip in history.
about 150 feet and buries it. It's
But as
unbelievable.
you get older and you get fragile and you maybe start clawing it, or you go to a mallet putter, or you get a MOI situation going on, there's none of that with him. He's just like, this is the game, I'm going to do it. And it's almost through grit, and I think that's what these guys are made up
there's
of.
a sport debate that is hard to have or even answer, because as time goes on, athletes by definition and fact get better. So like in hockey, I've gotten shit on for saying like at his best, Wayne Gretzky was, and who is the greatest player of all time, best stats, best everything, achieved everything. He would not be the player that he was when he was in 1982 at his peak if you put him on the ice in 2024, right? Because the game has just passed him by. The style that he played, the conditioning, all that stuff. He would have to be born in 1995, 1996 and come up in all of that new technology. But what I'm saying is like Tiger Woods had to have played the game of golf way better than Jack Nicklaus, right?
Well, that's what
Hits
I'm saying.
it farther, hits it straighter, hits it longer, makes better putts. It's just
One thing I'll say here, though, he focuses when you're around him, centeredness of strike. And when he's with Charlie, like he always talks about, you got to hit it in the center. You got to hit it in the center. Whether it's chipping, pitching, long irons, woods, everything's focused around the center. Nowadays in golf, you can get away with not hitting the center. But the way he is, he's more like the old school guys.
And I think he got a little bit screwed by the advances in. I think he would have been even better compared to the field if the equipment didn't get better.
I think
because
you might be right.
he was
Might have
such
been
a
some self-sabotage stuff involved.
Yeah, there was definitely
some. Probably
but
would
I-
have been better. But
just like there's a lot of guys who swing really. You can swing hard now and not hit it out of the middle because the technology
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah.
To your point about there's going to be a point where we can no longer watch Tiger Woods play golf. Jack Nicklaus said something recently. He did an interview. I don't know who it was with. It made me really sad. And he said, "I don't really play golf anymore because
Yeah, I saw
I'm
that.
so bad." And he's won 18 major championships. He doesn't want to go out there and shoot 90 or whatever it is.
yeah,
So that day comes for everybody.
for sure.
it's really, really cool that we're going to get in, 10 days after the show comes out, we're going to know so many answers that we just didn't know for the last 8 months, 9 months, whatever it's been. We're going to have an idea of, is Tiger genuinely moving better? What's his ball speed? What's his game? What's his demeanor?
Who's
like
on the bag?
course? Who's his caddy going to be?
Do we know?
It's got to be Robbie Mack. Right?
Has to be.
I mean,
Think so?
I
Oh,
think
yeah. Who's
he's
on the bag?
He's got to be the big.
Imagine it was Joey Jr.
So Cantlay's actually pulled out of the event. So, I mean, Joey could, because Joey said if Cantlay is playing in the same event as Tiger, he's going with Cantlay. I don't think Tiger will ask Cantlay's caddy to caddy for him, but it's not impossible because Cantlay's now not playing. But I think Robbie Mack is
the world
the big
is
favorite.
rooting for Tiger to just reverse cuck Patrick Cantlay and just take Joe LaCava.
But if you're
Imagine.
Tiger, at some point you probably just move on, right? And we love Joey I love Joey more than anyone. But at some point you end up just finding, for this next phase of his career,
Yeah.
you just let Joey ride off into the
Fresh
sunset with
start,
Patrick Cantlay.
fresh
Did you guys get into it with Joey in the Ryder Cup 18th green?
Tried. He wasn't really trying
He
to
wouldn't
talk
go
about
there.
it. Yeah, I think he was a little embarrassed by it, to be honest.
Okay.
I think
he saved the Ryder Cup.
yeah, he did great for content.
He's got nothing to be embarrassed.
What did you think?
Joe could have saved the Ryder Cup.
What did you-
Saved it.
What did you think about it?
You guys got
It was dog shit up to
Of course
that
you want
point.
to talk about the Ryder Cup.
We don't have to.
You never
I mean,
talk
I'm
about
going
the
for
Ryder Cup.
citizenship. We don't
And now
have to.
you guys
Yeah,
fucking
you are.
walk all over us, and now you want to talk about. Let's talk about the Ryder Cup. You know, it was
well, I think
bad.
all we should say to it is that I agree with what McIlroy said. I think it's the hardest tournament to win away from home now.
Because of the setup.
Yeah. It's almost like cheating.
What
now.
does the future mean for that tournament? I mean, we're New York for the next one, right?
Bethpage is going to be insane.
There's no chance.
They should have some like neutral
Yeah.
group set everything
Should
up.
we go and
though.
play it in Australia, maybe?
No, it doesn't have to be a
Right.
neutral.
It's the setup. It's all
doesn't
the
have to be a
setup.
neutral location. It can be just like yeah, I guess like the American or the European like people like the teams can't have a say in what's
not a bad
happening.
idea.
We
had-
had Molinari
yeah.
on, and he was like, "Yeah, we got to set up literally every."
I mean,
deep
Trottie,
the
he
rough
was-
goes.
He was going in deep about how the first hole, like the Americans like to slice the ball, and they've got a couple more guys on Europe that can hit it straight or even with a little bit of a draw. So that first hole was like this little slight dogleg left that just set up for a draw, and that their stats are that if you win the first hole, you win your match or don't lose your match like 80% of the time. And so they're doing all this just to talk about the first tee shot, and it worked. They ended up winning the first hole X amount percentage
many
of the
more.
time, and they win the right. And it's like, that's kind of bullshit. Whereas I don't think anyone's just going to concede because the U.S. is up right there. It's their turn to hold serve, so they're not going to give it up. But we kind of came up with the idea of like, let's say you do 2 more Ryder Cups, and then after that, everybody agrees you have a neutral party sets up the course, and you have no say.
He said that the thing about the Americans is they wanted to take wedges out of their hands as much as possible.
Yeah.
So he said they set it up where it got so narrow so that they could, take driver out of their hands on certain holes, make them play to certain spots, and have it be a mid to long iron contest. And he's like, we win that in the simulation every time.
But this has been going on though forever. So
Yeah.
04, I worked in the American team room at the Belfry, and I worked at the Belfry for a long time prior. And Torrance was the captain for the Euros. He came to the Belfry and they tiger-proofed the golf course. That was the whole thing. They narrowed it up. He's the only guy hitting it 300, 310. So they narrowed it up at 300, 310. They moved a tree 20 yards on the par 5 third just for him into the fairway. No one else was getting near this thing. So it's been going on forever.
Oh, in 2008, Paul Azinger tells the story. He had like JB Holmes on his team, bunch of just guys
Bombers.
who mashed the ball. And so they would put all the bunkers were carryable at 300 yards, and then past 300 yards, past the bunkers, there was no rough.
Yeah.
So if you could carry those bunkers, you were
You're
golden.
Yeah.
Or sorry, that was Hazelton, whatever it was. I think
But
it was
you
Valhalla.
want-
Makes
saying,
winning on the
yeah.
road that much more impressive.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen very often. I mean,
Yeah, when
But
this-
Bethpage Black, I mean,
2012, Medina,
Yeah,
was that
Medina.
the last time when Europe had to overcome a massive comeback
Deficit,
to win.
yeah.
But yeah, it's look, the Ryder Cup this year was the reason I say save the Ryder Cup is because Europe was just shit kicking us so badly that on Saturday night there was really not that much drama
Yeah, sure.
until all
From
that
our
happened.
perspective, like what were we going to talk
What
about?
were you
They had a
watching for,
bad, they had a bad first couple, groupings that I think Zach Johnson didn't do that great of a job. After the first group went off, it was kind of like he lost the team a little bit, and then you just have nothing to talk about. We were talking
I
about
can't-
Zach Johnson after the first round. And you're like, all right, and all of a sudden it's like this is boring. They're just getting their ass kicked.
I
There's
kept
nothing to
waiting
talk
for the
about.
wave. There was no like American hustle.
There was
Like,
nothing.
Homer
And then-
kinda
and then we
brought
got
it
it a
up.
lot though. You know what I'm saying? Joey kind of gave
I
us
guess
The
you're
whole
right.
hat thing gave life to the team. They showed up, I think Colin, JT weren't
Justin
wearing
Thomas
hats
is
on
going
Sunday.
like this to
it was-
everybody, and
The
like,
whole
I'm
hat
with you.
game helped a lot for content.
So yeah, that's why we were a little bit like Joe kind of saved the Ryder Cup for us in terms of being excited. We still ended up U.S. got killed and the whole deal. I got very excited with the recent Tiger and all the debate about who's his caddy going to be. That there will be a time where Charlie will caddy for Tiger in the Masters, and that got me just excited.
He's probably big enough to carry the bag now for sure.
Because you look at Jack and he had his son on when he won in '86 and that shot and them going nuts on 16 when he almost hold it. He had that 5-iron and his fucking son's carrying it. How awesome that is. And I was like,
Wow.
even if Tiger doesn't necessarily wear it, Charlie is going to be caddying for Tiger Woods playing in the
you know
Masters.
what Tiger caddies for him the next year?
And then right, there's
I mean, knowing how much he loves golf, I'm sure Charlie's trying to do it now. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit. He's like, let me get a chance. He loves it.
But the only thing with Tiger is when he plays, he wants to absolutely win. And I'm not taking anything away from Charlie, but obviously you look at the caddies that Tiger's had, they've been the best.
Pro
of the best.
caddies.
Yeah.
Experience.
And I'm not taking anything away from Charlie because he's been around the best
That's a good
player.
point.
So if I think you guys might be getting lost in the romance of it. I don't know if
Us?
you do that.
No.
How about Rob? You don't think it's going to be Robbie Mack on the bag in Hero?
I don't know. I mean, I love Robbie Mack.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love all the Tiger group, but I think it will be a top end guy again. Someone connected with Couples probably because that's his guy.
That's his scene, yeah.
Yeah. That's where my head's at.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I'm wrong. It could be Rob. That seems an easy one, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I could see for the Hero it being a Rob or
I
even
could
a
see for the
but
Hero,
once
yeah,
he
that's
gets
the best way
once
to
he gets
look at it.
cooking next year.
then he'll find a guy.
But there's a real possibility that he said he'll never play a full ship, but he could play a handful of events all of a sudden.
I think he's going to, the majors and then his events. Genesis and Hero, and that's he definitely makes an effort to play in this tournament because it means a lot to the foundation. They raise a lot of money from this tournament, so he knows that playing in it is going to bring a lot of eyeballs. I mean, the ratings are going to be out of control.
Dude, it is funny how this is just the playbook. It's like I remember back in 2017 when he came back and he played the hero and he looked good.
Mhm.
Everyone's like, wow, he looked pretty good. And then he came out in early 2018. He almost won the Valspar.
He played 6 times for the Masters that year. He was
Father son, he must
ramping
have
up.
played father son. He always plays that.
Yeah, he'll
But
play
in
that.
2018, I don't think he was yet because Charlie was so young.
Young,
I
yeah,
got to
yeah,
think
yeah.
he'll play PNC.
Remember, he added
Yeah.
Valspar late and played
Yeah,
that.
and then he almost won it.
He finished
Right?
second, yep.
Yeah.
PNC they use carts or no?
Carts.
Yep.
He'll
Yeah.
play that for sure.
For sure.
So him and Charlie. So yeah, I mean, in the next 3 weeks, we're gonna see, 3-4 weeks, we're gonna see Tiger probably play a couple events.
It's going to be good.
which is nuts. It's
gonna be really good.
That's nuts. How did that happen? For us, golf is simple. It's a chance to get out and have some fun with our friends. Inevitably, little things get in the way. Maybe you're playing terrible. Maybe the group in front of you is slow. Maybe it's poor weather, whatever it might be. You can turn everything around. You can get the hype going with a little fireball.
It's the best.
Ignite the round, dude. It's
Ignite
like,
the night is what it is.
Ignite
but
the
you
night.
can ignite the
You
round
ignite
as
the
well.
round. The round's a little slow. Maybe everyone's a little sleepy. You bring out a round of fireball birdie shots, and it takes the round to the next level.
We've all been
immediately.
there before. You're with your crew. Again, it might be sluggish. Maybe people are from the night before. Maybe it's early and it's like a dewy, chilly round, whatever it might be. The beverage cart comes around, or you packed properly and you put those little 50 milliliter shooters in your bag. You rip that shot, that iconic cinnamon flavored whiskey, and you are ready to go. Fireball's iconic cinnamon flavor tastes fire, goes down easy, making it the ultimate crowd pleaser. Fireball is the birdie shot of golf and the number one shot in the USA. The Fireball 50 milliliter shooters are the perfect shot for the golf course. Throw a bunch in your bag. They're ready to go whenever you need them. There's no shot glass or chaser needed. Just crack it, knock it back. You're ready to go. If you're really feeling like upping the ante on the course this weekend or anytime really, make sure to grab a 10-pack of Fireball shooters.
If you're listening to this, you've heard just golf carts in the background. We haven't really addressed that. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Hello. We're here in Florida. We're at TaylorMade Media Week. This is the best time of the year. It's Christmas come early. That's why we're with Trottie. We can't really talk too much about it. We can tease. I know this is usually the time we tease the fuck out of the listener.
Yep.
New equipment. We saw it today. Hit it.
Blue balls them real hard.
Yep. We hit new stuff.
We saw some big improvements.
Quote of the day goes to Riggs when he said earlier, he goes, tomorrow's my biggest outfit day of the year. I
Yeah.
think that explains to the listeners, like,
That's
this
huge.
is a big deal. If you think about what these 4 guys get into every single day of the week, I mean, you guys might have the best jobs in golf, and all hats off to you. But for Riggsy to sit there and say, like, tomorrow is my biggest uniform day of the year.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We don't want to get too much into it, but I think it's safe to say tomorrow is like one of the biggest days of our lives.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yep.
It's a big day.
Big day.
Yeah, we sat there and had a whole conversation about what we're gonna wear tomorrow.
Yeah. No, tomorrow, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
There's Mike Essie. He's the
Never
man
done
that
that
makes it all happen in the background.
Wave
Hats
of the
off
hat.
to Essie.
Looks a broken
Big
man already on
Detroit
day
fan.
one.
He's living high right now. He's got
Big
a lot
Dan
of good things
Campbell
going
fan.
on. Michigan. He's got the Lions playing the best they've ever played. Were they 8-2? Unbelievable. He's
Went
got
to
the
the game,
Red
didn't
Wings.
you?
No, he's about to. Mike Essie's about to have.
He went to the Chargers.
Mike
game.
Essie's about to have the greatest Michigan week of all time. He's going to.
You're going to the Ohio State game?
He's going. No. Just listen. He's going to
Yeah, listen.
Michigan State, Penn State. No, I'm sorry, Michigan. Lions Packers Thursday for Thanksgiving,
Sheesh.
which is a staple in American sports.
Huge.
The Lions play on Thanksgiving. Get a mic.
Lions
There you go.
Packers,
Yep.
Come and sit
at
next
Ford
to me,
Field.
kid.
12:30
Yep.
Thanksgiving Day on probably Fox. Who knows?
Yep. We don't have to
And-
plug the channel. That's okay.
I'm just your
Shout out to
Fox,
channel guy.
Fox Family
Shout out to
Network.
Fox.
And
they need us for sure.
then Friday night, Penn State, Michigan State at Ford Field.
So sick.
I went to Penn State,
Yep.
and then Saturday the game at the Big House,
Michigan,
Michigan
Ohio State.
versus Ohio.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Penn State or
Those-
Michigan? Who do you root for? Like push comes to
So
shove.
you're gonna make me do this publicly?
Yes.
So I gotta give backstory. Grew up a Michigan fan.
Uh-oh.
My dad is 2 degrees from Michigan. From 7th grade to high school, I missed 1 Michigan home game. 5 a.m. wake ups to go tailgate. Then I went to Penn State
Why did you not go to Michigan?
because they didn't have a college of communications.
That's right, yeah.
And
That was your reason?
yeah, well, I wanted to study journalism. Penn
That's
State
right.
had a really good journalism
Best
school.
job in the world.
I went to Penn State. My freshman year was the Sandusky scandal.
Whew.
So I went through that whole thing. Long story short,
What happened?
I'm going Michigan over Penn State.
Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fair. It's rude.
And your
That's
family
home. Yeah.
Penn State friends do not like that.
yeah they don't like
They
that.
don't respect
I'm
it.
going to get killed here.
Yeah.
You ready
Well,
for
you
it?
have no
forever.
loyalty towards your alma mater, but you have loyalty towards.
Yeah, I mean,
home.
my grandpa took me to games, taught me football at the Big House. Like,
yeah, no,
that's
you're
blood,
churching
man.
it
That's
up a little
family.
bit. I get it. I love it.
If you beat Ohio
Big Dom
State,
Toretto guy, that's family.
There you
If
go.
you beat Ohio
It is-
State, are you ready for the beatdown that the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to give you in the Big Ten championship?
We've already seen that movie 2 years ago.
I
so
know. That's tough.
I feel pretty good about it.
Lambs to slaughter. It's never fun
First
for
one
us.
to score 13 wins the game. So I think that'll be okay.
That was mean, but it's also true.
We're down here in Florida, so we went to Delray. Trent and I got in here early with Brendan Jones, and we went down to Delray. We had ourselves a day. Where did we go? What was the bar that we went into and we watched Iowa?
Deck 84.
Deck 84 in Delray Beach. A lot of college football on. Everyone's watching. Ohio State was playing. There's a couple guys from Columbus that were there. They threw Iowa on the screen, and
Head's
everyone was
starting to
kind
turn.
of everyone starts laughing, but they're like, "All right, yeah, we'll watch the Iowa." Who were they playing?
They played
Illinois.
Illinois.
They're laughing.
Barn burner.
It was 0-0. It was 2-0 after the first quarter. And everyone starts looking around like, why the fuck are we watching this game? What'd the final end up being?
15-13.
It's just the worst football game.
Go
People
Hawks.
are looking at him being like, how do you watch this?
It's the Joker meme. It's like you guys wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
You guys don't understand. We were born in it. That's just what it is. You watch a 2-0 game for 3/4 of the game. That's just that's football, baby. That's football in the Big Ten.
What's it like knowing you'll never be in the Big Ten championship game again after this year?
I know it's gonna slip right away from us. It's gone.
Because the divisions are gone. It's just the two best teams in the conference, which Iowa will never be.
We've been beaten up on the Big Ten West for the last few years. and it's
Northwestern
not
got
gonna
into
happen
one of
again.
those a couple years ago
It's
against
tough.
Ohio State. The Big Ten West has been.
And what happened in that game?
They got pumped. Yeah.
Ooh.
They got 6 wins this year. I thought they were going to have 0 after their
I say.
offseason.
Yeah, 6 wins is good.
They
The
got a
coach
chance to get to 7.
Coach is there permanently now, which
Yeah.
is yeah.
Iowa did beat Michigan when they were really good, and that's the reason I got to move to New York. So that was the win that I needed.
Yeah, the
That's it.
walk-off field
Foreplay
goal.
wouldn't exist
walk-off
for
field
one.
goal. Yeah.
Where do you fall on all this college football
Basically,
jargon?
he's just an Everton fan in the football world. Soccer.
Yeah.
Is that who I need to adopt?
Yeah, Everton.
They just got dinged.
Someone, yeah.
How
10
do they
10
get
points.
dinged and Man City doesn't get
Well,
dinged?
that's all in the press.
What they
right
get
now,
dinged
yeah.
for? What happened?
Financial fair play.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
but Man City has been there's been all these stories about there's this violation and no penalty, and they're the best team in the world. And Everton, who's they're trying to stay up, they got knocked down 10 points and they're in second to last place in relegation zone now.
Oh,
It's brutal.
Trotty, who's the
Don't bring
team
that up with Tommy Fleetwood tomorrow.
Yeah, he's a big
Yeah,
Everton.
yeah.
Trotty, who's the
Fino,
team
I
that
will not talk to.
Manchester United played a couple weeks ago that the team that they played hadn't gotten a point off them since 1868, and they play them once every
Copenhagen?
15. No, it was like
lost
Oh,
to
it was a
Copenhagen.
European game.
They
yeah,
lost
yeah,
to
yeah,
Copenhagen.
Yeah, right.
no, it
4-3.
was a team that it's a super old school team where their field is in the middle of a town. Like,
Luton
Luton.
Town?
Luton
But they
Town
won that
is
game
down,
0.
Yeah.
They scored a late
Luton.
winner. Yeah, Luton's Town is the 5,000 person stadium. It's like
Dude,
tiny,
I was
yeah.
watching the game, and they said Luton hasn't won a game against Manchester United since 1868. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how is this even possible?
Yeah.
That's
It's one of the originals, right? The OGs.
domination.
That was the stat for the Lions. It was like the Lions haven't been 8-2 since 1967. And then someone quote tweeted it and it was like the last time the Lions were good, crack wasn't invented.
I always say that the Rangers have won Stanley Cup since the cure for polio was brought to the world. So 1942.
have
whatever it was.
me and Lurch told you about when we tried to get into the Premier League with
You didn't need
Everton?
Go on, what happened?
We 6 years ago or something. Me and Lurch were just we're trying to get into soccer. And we were
Okay.
this looks fun. Let's just do it. So we picked a team that was heavy underdog to finish in the top 4 in the table, but was
Very
still
heavy.
something. It was 8-1 or something. And we were
Okay.
let's put some money on them and let's go to their bar in New York City and we'll watch the games. And it'll be on Saturday morning. It'll be fun.
They have a
And-
bar in New York City?
Yeah, they have an Everton bar. They got
Okay.
flags and shit hanging and whatever. And so we went first week. We go and they lost 1-0, and then we go the second week
Lost 1-0.
they lose 2-0, and third week they tied 0-0 or something. We were
Tough watch.
so we start learning after 3-4 months. We're this team never scores. They never have any chances, never any offense. So after 4 weeks, we just said this is fucking awful. They almost got relegated that year.
Yeah.
They finished 6th to last or something in the
Yeah,
league,
yeah.
and we're the last team in scoring, I think, in the whole.
Hey,
league.
we know,
So
you're
they're
weeding
so
out the
boring.
posers. That's what Iowa Hawkeyes
They're
do,
just
too.
boring, man.
People say they love college football, but if they really love college football, they'll watch the Iowa Hawkeyes too.
Yeah, and it's the same with Everton as well. But people in England, especially in Liverpool and that town, I think it's the same as where you guys are at. If it's your team, it's your team.
Yeah, dude.
And you can't hate on them, but they'll be there every week grinding.
We want every coach fired, but we still love the team. Every week we're like, yeah, we'll show up.
So
sell
I can
out the
respect
stadium.
That's
It's
like
not,
being a Lions fan.
right, you've been in the trenches for years.
I take anxiety and depression medication because I'm a Lions fan.
Right.
That's what it is.
You might have to give me
You
some
start
of that.
feeling things you didn't know existed emotionally when you watch
Yeah.
a Lions game. And they're up 20 in the fourth quarter, and then they get 7 false start penalties in a row, and they lose.
So where's your level of belief for this year?
I think the Lions can win multiple playoff games.
Not the Super Bowl, though.
I think there's just better teams. Yeah, like the Eagles are a better team. The Eagles could put up 50 on the Lions. If the Eagles and the Lions played, it would be like 55-42 or something like that.
Was it Eagles Chiefs tonight?
Yeah.
I guess that game already happened, so people know. But yeah, that's a big one.
Can't wait for it.
The Kelces.
Oh yeah.
People going
Yeah,
crazy
they won't
about
talk
that.
about that at all on the
The
broadcast.
Taylor Swift's parents are meeting the Kelce parents for the first time tonight.
What do you
At the
think? What do you
game.
think about all that as a non-American person?
What, Taylor Swift?
Yeah,
It's. I mean, she's
Well,
like
be
Michael
careful,
Jackson, right? She's the new Michael. It's
she's
crazy.
huge.
So what do I think? I'm not. I don't hate it. I actually went to a concert. My daughter is big
Oh.
into it.
The Eras
So-
Tour.
Yeah, I was out in Memphis actually.
Great
In
spot.
Memphis.
Yeah.
Memphis.
I was doing some work and then I had to leave and get back for this concert. And I got back, and obviously, you're East Coast to West Coast, so you're struggling a bit. And then I bowl up at this thing, and it was such a big event because my daughter she's in the window. She's 9. She's so into it.
Yep.
My missus is obviously into it because we're all into it for her. And my son, who's also 9, is looking at me going, are we doing this? And I'm like, well, we got 4 tickets, so some
You're
pretty
coming.
cool people go. Sadly, we got to go. And then 2 hours into this thing, he's like, dude. And I'm like, I get it, mate. And he's like, can you get me some food? So me and him disappeared to get some food at that SoFi Stadium. What a stadium
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, that same.
Got back after he'd ripped some mac and cheese, and he's just like, yeah, give me this. And he just got there, and he just fell asleep in the middle of the concert. So I'm now sat there with my 9-year-old son sleeping, done with this, and I'm watching the remaining hour of this tour. And look, it's not my thing, but I can absolutely respect
Of course.
what she's got going on.
That's not the first time this has happened. You could relate to the David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. That's the same thing. It's the star athlete and the star pop star getting together, and the whole world
Yeah.
is obsessed with every restaurant they walk into,
Yeah, true.
every single picture that they're taking. Where's he going on his off weeks to go visit her? And literally, Travis Kelce is taking a page out of David Beckham's book. He's just doing it way better. He's like,
Yeah, but
he's
it's
more likable.
times have moved on. Well, Beckham's loved though, mate. But like you say,
Well, that
he's more-
documentary was fucking nuts, man. So
in
good.
England, when that happened and they hung the mannequin outside of the pub and stuff with
Yep.
the miss in the World Cup, crazy. Like the
red
place,
card. The red card thing was
the
crazy.
place went nuts. And he had a tough spot. But I think what you forget, A, how good he was as a player, like unbelievable. B, how great he was as a brand. But see how big she was.
Huge.
Yeah.
And the
Spice
thing that
Girls.
the doc, but you forget
Yeah.
as time moves on.
Right, because they were a flash in the pan.
Yeah,
They
well,
died.
they were a
History
10,
repeating
15-year flash in the
Right.
pan, but
It
things
is.
move on. But you forget, and then you also realize from the documentary that struck me, she was actually very supportive of him. I mean, she went he was cutthroat. And you don't think that when you look at them, but she would, seeming to me, get to a town where he'd moved to go and play for the club. He'd be there for 6 months to a year. She'd settle the family. Then he'd turn around and say, okay, I've got an opportunity now on the land. Now I've got an
That's
opportunity.
exactly what happened with LA. She's like, I'm so happy in LA. He goes, I want to go back to Italy.
And I'm just like, wow, like you didn't see that in him. You just didn't see it when you were living like through the tabloids. Now in this scenario, obviously I don't know football the way you know it. I don't know how big a deal he is. I don't know if he can be compared to David Beckham, guys, was
right.
big
Yeah,
deal.
you can't compare Kelsey.
Okay, that's what I don't know.
No.
Beckham was a big deal.
Pretty damn big though. He's
He's
But I
gotten
think-
way bigger.
For me, like
aside
Beckham,
from Rob Gronkowski, he's the second best
He's
tight
also
end of
on
all
a-
time.
He's also on a team
and
that's
you're
won a
comparing
bunch of
that to
Super
the-
Bowls, so
the
that
most
helps.
popular
He's
soccer
famous,
player
but
in
he's,
the
he
world.
doesn't
Well,
have
soccer. The scale of soccer is just
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, the scale of soccer is different.
I'd
Like,
say
he's definitely
Beckham
not
was
as
like an
famous.
Aaron Rodgers to me. Like Aaron Rodgers seems a big deal.
Bigger,
Yeah.
dude.
I think
Yeah, I
Beckham's
think
bigger.
Beckham was bigger.
Bigger.
Okay.
Bigger.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm not putting Kelce on
like
Beckham.
LeBron.
I'm just saying, like, top tier athlete,
Yeah, LeBron.
biggest star in the world, pop star. Is it okay? Are you okay with me calling her a pop star, Alex Bush? Okay,
He's our Taylor Swift guy.
He's a
he
huge
he went
Swiftie.
to a Taylor Swift listening party at a bar.
She's a
loves it.
smart woman. I mean, she's
didn't
smart.
even-
Oh, the smartest.
Listen,
Yeah. She's
Trotty
gonna.
he rolled right
he's
over
just
that.
like he looked at
can't.
her and goes, "She's a
Digest
smart
Yeah,
woman."
yeah, what the hell? I had to stay because my son fell asleep. What's your excuse?
No, he
Loves
loves
it.
Lives for it.
Loves
Lives for
it.
it.
I never
Lives
know
for it.
these boys. So genuinely, seriously, is that into this?
Yeah.
He said that when he saw the video, there was a video that came out recently of her running over to kiss
I squealed.
Travis Kelce. He said he squealed.
He loves it.
What the hell is going on here, boys?
What does that even mean?
He said he went,
Like that.
You
What'd you
like
do?
you like what you like.
Yeah, no.
I mean, she's
I like
the
I went
biggest
to, I
pop
went to
star on
Taylor
the
Swift.
planet.
I
Yeah, I
kind of
went too. It
squealed
was
when I
great.
went.
Yeah, but you walk around with 5 drum things and a freaking. That's like, I
Caught up in
can't
the
take you
theatrics.
seriously.
I get caught up in the theatrics, so yeah, I love that shit. Yeah, it is interesting though. They're huge, so I'll see. Well, this already happened when this came out, but I'll see how insane the internet goes tonight.
Crazy.
What's the closest golf is like DJ and Paulina?
I mean,
to be,
anything
right?
Tiger
Maverick
did was...
McNeely
But
and
I'm
Danielle
trying to
Kang.
think if Tiger ever dated anybody like.
No.
No? Nobody.
Yeah, Lindsey
What
Vonn.
did you say?
Oh, Lindsey
I said
Vonn.
Yeah.
Neely and
She
Daniel.
was, she was Olympic superstar. at the
Yeah,
time.
She's a
skier.
big deal.
That was a big one.
That was
I mean,
pretty big.
Rory
yeah.
and Wozniacki.
Crazy stuff came out
Wozniacki
of
was
that,
like
too.
number 1 in the world, and Rory was like top 5.
Yeah, that was a big one.
deal.
Yeah.
too.
I think
Yeah.
it's Mike and Lauren. Barbuti and Lauren.
Yeah,
That's the biggest power couple in golf.
biggest one I know.
Yeah.
Couple.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Has there ever been like a really big one? I don't know.
I think
Pauline
Rory,
and DJ.
Rory and Wozniacki would be the
That's
biggest
right
one.
up there. Yeah.
Rory's big. Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
Greg Norman and who's the tennis player,
Chris
right?
Everett?
Yeah.
Was that it?
I think that's
That
right.
was big.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
They were both. Was it both when they were a little bit later?
Yeah, because he came back and nearly won the '98 Open at Birkdale. He led it
Verlander
for 3
came
rounds.
out
Remember
pretty
that in
big,
the
too.
rain?
He also almost won the Open like 2 years after Watson. In like 2010 or 2011. He was in like the final round. I'm
Yeah.
going to look this up. You remember that?
Really?
I'm going to
it
look
was
it up.
nuts.
I'm going to look it up.
Wasn't it? No, I thought it was '98. Maybe I'm
I think he
I'm
was.
thinking the same.
I think he also might have done it in 98.
Because he was pretty old then.
All right, I gotta go do work.
All right.
All right, Mike.
Mike Gessie, everybody.
2 phones.
2
a
phones.
big deal.
I actually have 3 now.
He's our main man this week. He's,
I actually
he's
have 3 now.
showing us around.
He is. He's
the best.
Have fun.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Mike.
Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries. That was a weird one.
I was gonna say Kim and Kanye, but that's different. Kanye's not an
Yeah,
athlete.
98, he missed the cut. I think you're thinking of the one I was thinking of, which was
Birkdale.
2008. He finished T3.
Birkdale, right? Harrington won it.
Oh,
Yes.
so that might have
Yeah,
been the
that's
year
the one I'm
before
thinking of.
Tom Watson.
Yeah, it was the year before. 2008,
Crazy.
he finished T3. He was 53.
It was a good
52.
story. They
Yeah.
played the Jaws music before the final round. It was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is
You're just
great.
10 years off. You're close, though.
Mate, yes, they all merge.
Yeah.
Yeah, '98 was aggressive.
Yeah.
Do you need a good gift idea? Do you not know where to start? Well, check out our favorite online shopping destination for all things golf at G4. We are rocking G4s right now, every single one of us. They're comfortable, they're classy, they look amazing, and they got a bunch of different options. Their new holiday collection includes all kinds of items for life, on and off the course, sweaters, beanies, polos, and that's just the stuff you can wear. There's driver head covers, a cashmere blanket, and a bottle opener since it's legit holiday party season. They also have every type of shoe you could ask for. That's literally true. From the Gallivanters, we got the 112s, we got the MG4 Pluses, we got the MG, all kinds of good stuff. I think Trent's got the MG4 X2s on.
I do. Yeah.
From the true traditionalist to the cool modern player, there's standout styles for any vibe you are seeking. Give G4 a visit because gift giving is easy when you know where to look. Check out g4.com/barstool. That's GFORE.com/barstool for 10% off your first order. G4.com/barstool. How's everything with you, Trotty? Things are a little different in your world now?
Things are a little different. They're good though, mate. I've been busy. Kind of looking forward to this Thanksgiving, and hopefully we can have a little bit of a wind down as America chills out here for the next few days. But
America does chill out.
Yeah.
Have you embraced Thanksgiving?
we do the whole Friendsgiving thing.
Okay.
I mean, it's a bit of a tricky one. We don't have any American family as such, so.
No.
But no, we've. I remember when I first got here, it was really weird, and then my wife sort of got in. She's English as well, so she'd get big into it. So we've embraced it in that sense now that we really do stuff. But England, Christmas is a big deal. So like eating turkey and stuff 4 weeks early seems really strange. But then America doesn't really get that into Christmas. Certainly not.
Turkey's a big Christmas food in
100%.
England.
The whole shamonki that you guys do for Thanksgiving, we do it.
What was that word?
Shamonki.
Yeah.
We do it for Christmas.
Really?
Yes, mate. The turkey and all that.
I'm
So-
kind of out on Thanksgiving anyway, so I think.
Really?
Yeah. Feels like a speed bump on the way to Christmas. Like, let's just get to Christmas.
No, I think it's the beginning, man. It's
certainly the beginning, but-
Fireworks that let you go. It's just bang! It hits you like a ton of bricks. You know,
What does?
Thanksgiving. It's just like all of a sudden we're in the holiday season. It just hits you like a ton of bricks.
I agree,
You're
it's
like,
the kickoff to
You're working,
holidays.
you're running around. All of a sudden, work stops for 2 days, and you're just you're at your local bar with all your friends, and you're like, oh shit! Like we're about to embark on a nice little month and a half journey here, all the way up to Christmas. I love
Put
it.
yourself in my shoes though. Like, so you go back home, you're with all your buddies and stuff. Obviously, I'm living the other side of the world. I'm like, okay, guys, what you all up to? And everyone's like, well, we're seeing our family. We're seeing. So the first couple were a little strange. So now we figured it out. Hang out. It's you. As much as you embrace living here, there are certain things when you end up with expats.
Do your
Because it's like
Kids
Thanksgiving?
have British accents?
No, American. They're done.
So
they're
they're
full
both
on gone.
British parents, but they just
Full
sound
on
just like
gone.
us.
Your
Yeah.
kids have American accents.
Yeah.
That's gotta drive you crazy.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
He's like, I hate them.
It's okay. I'm in, boys. I'm in. It's
You're
okay.
in.
I'm in.
You're in. All right, good.
The only thing
I
that's
feel like you've
tricky.
changed your tune over the last couple of years since we started.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I thought about going back a few
Wow.
times, and recently more than ever. But it's just cold. It's miserable. The golf industry's not there, and as Riggs alludes to, like I'm doing a lot more on my own now, and with social media, the golf industry's here.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to do in England then? We're going to have
Nothing.
4 miserable blokes running a podcast. It wouldn't work. I am a bit of a miserable bloke. Like, it works with 4 positive blokes.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Definitely,
work if
definitely.
I'm just like, there's 4 of me, English people, all black cloud. Does not work. It just won't work.
You're
gotta
not a black cloud, dude.
No,
you're
you're
not.
So, sometimes that can be a bit of
Okay.
a
We got to
mess.
talk about what you are doing. So you're on your own, really. This is your own brand. You've always had it, but you've always been tied to bigger TaylorMade type of umbrella. Now you are strictly just Trottie Golf on YouTube, collaborating with other YouTube brands, going to be doing stuff with us and all these different videos and just building it up. So the listeners and viewers have to go to your channel now. This is it.
That's
That's going to be the thing.
The bottom line is that we're in as we talk about the game changing for Tiger, we talked about it offline here, that YouTube is a constantly evolving space. I was enjoying it a lot, liking what I was doing. Opportunities were coming to me to work with other brands and to explore other areas. And obviously you look on and you make friends now, just even these relationships, different relationships. You have the relationships through time with tour players, and that was great. But I wanted to really get the information and the learnings that I'd had out to more people. So I approached TaylorMade about this sort of 6-7 months ago, and we started to talk about that scenario and what it could look like. And that's where TaylorMade's great. Like, they get it. They get what I want to do. And to be fair, they're on board with it and have supported it. But yeah, it's now independent and on my own, still partnering up with TaylorMade, which is fantastic because a lot in this industry I have to thank them for. I mean, ultimately, I don't make half the relationships I have without them. So that was an important piece. And once I had their blessing, then yeah, it was go off and do some things now that are appealing to me still that involve this great brand at times, but I can obviously do things now and more for what I want to do.
We've been talking a lot about YouTube and just the strategies behind it. We had Grant Horvat on the show, and I kind of alluded to, like, sometimes the videos that we do seem like we're trying to hit some sort of algorithm streamline and trying to get the most views regardless of what it is. The fact that there's still a place in the world of golf for people like you that want to give players and fans of golf like the true data and like this is how you get better and this is really interesting in your brain, which is a brain that has been with Tiger Woods and Scottie Scheffler, all the best in the world, and you've been able to get all of this stuff and produce it now for the average fan and viewer. I think that's really cool. Like, you're not bullshit. You are straight to the fact. This is how you get better at the game of golf. Watch this video and you will enjoy your time. Watch this video because you're going to become better.
I'm really glad that you take that from it, because I was sat literally maybe 2 days ago early, and I'm looking at the laptop and gave it like, oh, fucking what the fuck. And my missus is like, what's up? And I'm like, oh, I'm just going through these YouTube comments and stuff. And someone had written on there something. You gotta like engage with the followers, but someone had basically called bullshit on what I'd written or what I'd made this video of. This video I've gone through with the best players in the world. I'm not making this up.
Right.
Like, I have done this with the best golfers in the game to improve them at major championships.
What was the video?
I'm trying to think back now, but it was some form of, it was a short I'd put out, and I get the game of it, and I'm trying to like learn the game and change. I want to get new followers as well and help them, but there are some things that I'll put out that I'm a strong believer in, whether it be data or whether it be like alignment is a big one. It might even have been alignment, because people's alignment, something simple like that, can be so freaking off.
Yeah.
And you get on a tour event, like we got this beautiful range behind us, but tour players would put sticks down. They would do that, and every time. And it's like someone had commented on something, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So you start to reply, and you're just like, mate,
No, it's not
I
even
mean,
worth it.
let's just chill out with your
Yeah.
comments. But I get it. It's the game, and that's the opportunity. We've got to educate the next generation of golfer coming through, of which some of them are only into YouTube. So that they don't know. People are learning the game through YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw
absolutely.
Tiger the other day said something like, someone asked him, how do you get better? Stay off YouTube. That's what he said. And that's not great for the business that we're now in. And by the way, I don't think it's going to happen, Mr. Woods. Greatest of respect. People are going to go on YouTube for a golf lesson on how do I shallow the golf club? How do I aim it? How do I hit my rescue higher? They're going to just put all that jazz in there. And that's where we're living right now. But I'm gonna definitely stay strong on things that I
have
believe in
to.
because it's got
You're
me
so
where
good
I am.
at it.
And I'm not gonna get driven sometimes by the views and stuff. I will do stuff that does because I want to, and that was part of the thing with TaylorMade. Like I wanted to branch out into other things that might be interesting and fun, but definitely I'm gonna sprinkle in like the stuff I believe in for sure.
Yeah, I think we debate that too all the time amongst ourselves of like we do need to put stuff out and get views. Views are massive. Views are how you attract sponsors and you grow and you get more subscribers and all of that. But you also want to try to marry it with stuff that you genuinely want to do, whether it's funny or whether it's a good competitive match or whether it's informational, whatever the hell it is. It's like you do need to kind of stick to who you are and like what you like to do. I'm always amazed at how much you know about golf equipment. Like even today, I know we're doing all kinds of reveals and the videos will come out. We're seeing the new stuff and we talk about it. But like your intimate knowledge of golf equipment and a driver and every piece of the driver and how you can tweak it and how you can fit people and change one thing. And like today, even just Frankie was like his swing speed did not go up, yet like his ball was going significantly farther. And it's like just knowing that stuff, I'm amazed by that.
Well, it's good to thanks, and I appreciate it. But obviously, like I've been in the huddle with the best players in the world for 20 years. You're gonna get better. When I look at how I was when I came out to do this job, guys, I was fucking clueless. When you think about what I know now versus what I knew then, how much technology has moved on with launch monitors, with equipment. We saw it today with stuff that we went through and showed you guys. But just, I got to do some stuff with Micah, and it's my third crack at like the cherry with him. And the first two were very much YouTube content videos. And this kind of frustrates me that I get it, we're making a video, but I'm getting the YouTube reaction and I'm getting and I've said it before in this podcast, I'll say it again. He's got all the ingredients to be an amazing player. But today was the first time I had it downwind off the right, which I know favors him. So I could get to see some confidence from the lad. And I was able to get on the tour truck and manipulate CG, center of gravity, a little bit and just say the right things and get him flowing. And sometimes, and this has happened with Brooks Koepka, and this was a lesson that I had to learn, say nothing. Yeah. Like sometimes the talent, I don't know where that sits with journalism, but is to let them talk. And I'm not great at that. I love to talk, as you guys know. But if you can step out the way, and like we had a moment there with Micah today, he's crushing this thing, carrying it 340, and I'm not saying anything. I'm just like, nothing to say here.
Part of the game is knowing when to interject and knowing when to let someone.
It's a skill I've had to learn. But I think it's like everything. When you're around the best, you can only become the best. I'm a big believer in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Adrian said something incredibly interesting today that'll be in one of these amazing videos we come out with. But is that he's basically saying like when he puts a club in a top tier player's hands, you know, he kind of has an idea as he's working through it of like what's going to be the best deal. But if he puts one in that's clearly not it, and the guy hits like a shit shot, he'll like rush to get that club out of their hands because he's like, they're so good that they'll figure out how to hit it really, really good, which we don't want it that way. We want their actual swing and their actual move and to optimize it with the best equipment.
He literally took the club out of my hand. I was trying to hit another one. I was like, I just hit that off the plane. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah. No, we were flipping between heads today with certain people, and it was like they get used to a head. Well, if the player's really good, they'll get used to that. And it's the same with tour players. They'll adjust to whatever you do. So I can completely relate to what he's saying. The worst is when you put it in and you might be in a scenario like I had today where the truck is, well, I had a camera on me, but the truck is 400 yards away. You know there's a tweak you can make that is better, but you can't do it because you're making a YouTube video. So I obviously, when we wrapped, I was like, I can get it better than that. And Mike is like, well, that was really good and doesn't want, and I'm like, no, give it to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to trust me. I can get it better than that.
Yeah.
And I think that moment when you find a player and they're crushing it 340 downwind.
He's so good.
He's got a lot of good attributes as a player, for sure.
He took every single one of us had our jaws on the floor watching him hit balls today.
And that was what the first bit that we all saw. It was horrific.
Compared to what
horrendous. Compared to where we finished, it was horrendous.
He was just cruising.
What are you talking about?
It was awful. The ball flight was awful. He took a completely different driver. That driver's gone. He's not hitting that again.
You took it away from him.
You could see that, couldn't you? It was
he was hitting high spinny ones.
150 feet apex and 3,400 spin. Horrendous. Horrendous. He picked up 20 yards over there with a different setup.
How is that possible?
Because he's got
carry.
so much fucking speed.
There's so much to give. That's why I'm saying it. And I've said it before, and I'll continue
What's
to say
his
it.
like launch angle?
But it's all he keeps it down on the launch to like 12, 13.
Down. That was the highest I got.
Yeah.
yeah. For him, he keeps it down because he spins it.
Yeah,
so
because you
much.
started at 8.
I started at 8 and we got up to 12.
But what you got to do with someone like that, Frankie, like they put the governor on it because they're scared of the big miss.
Yeah.
So what you as a fitter needs to do is release the governor, so that and that's how the game has changed so much. Like there were players playing on tour making millions of dollars in the 90s who played with the governor on.
Yeah, they swung at 80%. That's what they used to say.
Yeah, no one has the governor on now. That's what's amazing about golf now. No one has the governor on
Yeah.
at all.
Because you don't have to.
Because the games, but they all know
The
so much more about
technology,
data.
yeah.
You touched on data earlier and why it's so important to me. Now, if you drive it and you hit it 40 yards further than, which we all can, by the way, if we took all of us and rolled us back to the 70s, then the gap between the best of us and the worst of us would be massive.
Yeah.
Because now there's so much on hitting, like you don't have to hit the middle anymore.
Mark Brody is really the godfather of like the
He
advanced
is.
golf statistics, and he wrote a book called Every Shot Counts, and it
Explains it all.
explains it all, but the sort of thesis is closer to the hole is better.
It's not Scott Fawcett you're talking
No,
about?
no.
He thinks he is.
Closer to the hole is better. Like even if it's in the rough, as long as it's not a penalty stroke, 80 yards out of the rough is statistically a lot better than 150 out of the
But
fairway.
all this stuff is coming out now, and AI is going to help you with what to work on in your game.
AI is a
I've started
nightmare.
working with this company now, and they will basically tell you in a pie chart, spend 40% of your time on this for your game. And there's college players working with that now.
Yeah.
Like the days of when I started this job with Woosnam hitting balls and people like that, like you'd say, how do you hit a low cut? And he's like, well, I just feel it. Now you ask an NCAA kid, how do you hit a low cut?
Oh, I
Well,
gotta
I keep
match
the
up,
face to
yeah,
path doing
yeah.
it. Like, Jesus.
Well, they're smarter. There
Yeah.
used to be a learning curve about winning on tour. I think it's one of the reasons. I mean, kind
Yeah.
of segueing us to, Ludwig winning this week and Nikolai Højgaard winning this week.
Nice.
Thank you. These kids are ready to win right out of college because of programs like Scott Fawcett's
Fawcett, Decade Golf.
Decade Golf, where they just there used to be that these
Do you
young
keep
kids.
that sheet in your bag? I keep
I
that
have
sheet
it.
in my bag.
I don't know what the fuck it is. I did a full video with them and got a ton of views, and I still really don't know. I didn't learn anything, but I feel
Made
like
a
I got
great
better.
video.
Yeah.
I feel like I got better from in that.
YouTube
yeah.
video, baby.
The,
That's it.
the idea was great. It's just I'm not consistent enough to hit it 7 yards to the right of the pin. You know what I mean? Like my target and all that.
But
Might
you
as well
keep
aim, might as
saying
well
that,
try.
though,
Or
and
at a-
like you've returned this. I haven't seen you play golf in a while. You're a better player now than what the last time I saw you.
I'm definitely making improvements. I
If
feel
you-
better.
If you only see someone once every 5 to 6 months and they can stand there and say that, then you're improving.
yeah.
It's visible.
Did you say something today on the truck? I thought I overheard you say that like the drive for show, putt for dough is bullshit. It's the other way around.
Yeah, it's
It
exactly
is.
what we're saying about this
Yeah.
book.
Right.
It's
If you look at the top 10 putters in the world on strokes gained, it's like a lot of guys who are not the best players in the world. You look at the top 10 off the tee, and it's the best players in the world. It's just a bigger delta. It's like,
unless though
Right.
you have the data. Like I know that my data shows that I should work on my putting 45% of the time
yeah,
but from 8 to 15 feet.
right.
And I know the depth I'm going that I underread putts and I'm conservative on pace.
Yeah,
Not a good combo.
It
yeah,
is
but
so true,
for
though.
for tour for like top level tour players,
Right.
off
I think
the
for
tee is a
amateur
better-
players,
Right.
driving the ball is more important.
It's a
than-
it's a
I
baseline.
think almost
It's a
at every
baseline.
almost
I
at
think
every
every
level it
level.
is
because you're actually playing.
right.
Yes.
That's
exactly.
really the difference.
You could argue that I'm the worst putter in the group, and I'm playing some of the best golf.
Yeah, and you're definitely
my
the
life.
best.
Because you're in
of
play
us,
off the
of me,
tee, though.
Trent.
Because I'm
You.
just getting the ball down the
best
course.
The best breaking 90s that we put out are when I'm on, like when I can hit it off the tee, because you're playing. You're like, if you're off the map, you're just like, I'm gonna shoot a million.
Well,
out
yeah,
here.
you've already eliminated 250 to 300 yards of stuff.
danger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's gone. And now,
Right.
like, you're
Where
just,
so many strokes could add up.
Where was your head at,
Trying to get
Trenty,
there.
with that tee shot you hit when you needed par down the last to break
Oh,
90? I watched it.
I was swimming and
You
I don't
didn't
even
really
know
advance that
His
puppy very
heartbeat
far.
was. Your heartbeat
Well,
had to
the
be like
amount of pros
190.
that we've had been like, that's the funniest video I've ever watched.
Yeah, no, I've gotten a lot of that. It was, I was definitely nervous, and I stand over it for way too long, and I didn't realize that I was standing over it for way too long. Yeah,
But then you start thinking you got to speed it up, and it's like you can't be in that headspace either.
I don't even, if you ask me, I don't even know if I have an answer about what I was
Do you
thinking
remember
about.
it?
Not really.
No, yeah.
Do you remember it from your eyes or from third person watching?
I remember it from the video now.
Yeah.
I remember.
Well, because
sitting there.
after when we watched it back, and I didn't realize how long I'd been over the ball, I texted our producers like, "Did you guys add time to make it more dramatic?"
Dramatic
and they were
effect.
like, "No, that was real time." And I'm like,
No, they said they actually cut a little out.
Did
Remember? They were like, we actually cut like you kind of standing over and walking towards the
You
ball.
froze, dude. You
Like if anything was a little bit
Proper
longer.
froze.
Why don't
Brendan,
you get
I'm pretty
a
sure.
process then? Like, why don't you figure this out? Like, you go around this all the time now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you a bit of a hard time. Like, come on, bud. Like, let's get a process so that the next time, like Faldo, I think it was ages ago, 92 maybe. You'll know. Murfield when he won, they timed him on the first tee shot
same the whole way, right? Yeah.
to the 0.1 second.
Really?
To the second shot into 18.
Fawcett has a video like that on his of Tiger Woods at the 2000. I think it's when he was playing his best, and they time it throughout the tournament. First tee shot, second shot on a random hole on Friday, and it's the same
Dude,
exact
that's
thing
very
every single
interesting.
time. That's how they do it. It's a routine.
You got to get this dialed now, buddy, because it's like, we got to seize this. It's
I
gotta
know.
happen.
I should probably go to McCabe. He's the one who got your process in check.
Yeah, he's really good with the process. McCabe started to get Dr. Brett McCabe got so deep into it that he said that to unlatch your glove when you're walking up to the tee, so that once you tighten up the glove, it's process time.
It's a
So have it-
kinesthetic. It's a feel. Now
It's a
you
feel.
know.
You're
yeah.
actually doing it. So it's like have it loose, have it open, talk with your buddies on the tee box, smack it around, clean off your cleats, whatever. And then when it goes, bang, go time. Walk up to the ball, take a couple deep breaths, do your little waggle, and hit the ball, unzip it, get in the cart, and do your
You'll
thing.
see
like
pros
that.
often
It's cool,
if they're
right?
if they're
Cool.
if pros are switching clubs, you'll see them a lot of time like put a club back in the bag because that's their triggers. Like once I pull
Yeah.
the club out of the bag, that's
Right.
when I
This
start.
is my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, because you'll never see them like if they're waiting to go for it on a par 5. You'll never see them like standing there like really like with that club, or if they're like well. But you will see them. You're right. Like do some sort of trigger to go back to the process.
Yeah.
Like once it's time to hit. Okay, now we got to
Did
go.
you
to the
notice
process.
Sam Burns' weird thing that he was doing when he was putting?
No, what does he do?
We played against Sam Burns. We just got back from it. We came straight to Florida from the middle of fucking
Louisiana.
bumfuck Louisiana. Great place though. Sam Burns, one of the best guys I've ever met. He
We shot
goes
guns.
to grab his. Yeah, I shot a gun for the first time in my life.
I saw it.
Felt like a man.
Gun Twitter was not
Love-
happy with you.
So
Oh,
no,
they
they,
didn't like
they
it? So
did not.
stupid. They didn't realize.
They didn't like the still shot that I had posted, but they loved the video. So
Okay.
the still shot shows my finger on the trigger
And they-
looking,
Right,
but they also don't know there was just one bullet in there.
and that you had already shot.
I had
Right.
already shot.
Right.
And then, but in the video it shows, and I don't even remember doing this. I held the barrel away from everyone as I'm talking and going crazy. And some guys like that's like high level knowledge of the barrel and the
Safety
gun.
of
I was like,
gun.
I didn't know what
That was
the fuck
just
I
a
was
fear
doing.
running through your veins.
Whatever. I'm a pussy. Me holding the gun's insane. He would actually go to grip the putter cross-handed, and then he would grab
So
it.
most players, why they do that?
Shoulders, right? Keep the shoulders straight. Yeah.
And
Really?
forearms.
Oh,
Get
so it
shoulders
wasn't
and
like a
forearms.
process thing.
Most guys is to get the forearms and the
He
shoulders.
went
where they need
boom,
to be,
boom,
yeah.
putt. It was wild.
You'll see JT does it too, where
Jesus.
he'll like grip the putter like this with both of them together, and then he'll
Wow.
Like palms together. Oosterhausen did it as well, didn't he, Louis?
Did he?
Yeah.
Are you a big like
Stones.
process like with grips and like you mess around with stuff like that?
Yeah,
Where, like,
mate. Working in the equipment space for as long as I have, it really messes up some things. And yeah, I've gone beyond the rabbit hole now when it comes to putting, of playing around with grips, playing around with like face control, playing around with time and acceleration. I am so far. It's probably not good.
do you do like specific things like you walk up to the putt a certain way?
Definitely. I mean, I'm fortunate to play quite a bit of golf with a guy who was top 10 all-time strokes gained putting, a guy called Dean Wilson, Hawaiian fella. Good.
So old stack and tilt guy.
Yeah.
Big Goat Hill guy.
Yeah, great putter. And he basically, I pretty much do his routine, which is stand behind the ball, but not side on, stand face on, so your face is looking at it. 3 strokes. The first one is short, the second one is long, and the third one is the perfect pace. And do not take your eyes off your aim point. So whether that's the apex or the hole, he prefers it to be the hole. I quite like the apex. Don't take your eyes off the apex, no matter what, or your aim point, and then get into it and just focus on there. No thought as to what you're doing. Just target and go. And he likes look, come back, go. I can't do that. Sometimes I have to go look, come back, then go. But the best guys are quick. They
Do you
go.
stare at a specific spot on the golf ball?
Not with putting, sometimes with full shots, but not
Really?
definitely out of a trap. I will, because if you stare at the top of the ball, then I think, and you squeeze the club tighter, it shortens your forearm muscles.
Heard
one, and then also if you stare at the top, it gets your focus on the top rather than going deep into the golf ball. But I mean, at some point, I think if you can be I try and get to be more of an athlete, which is why that US Open, Wyndham Clark, you see that chippy hit down the back, and his caddy's like, be an athlete. I know what you're trying to do. Like, these guys have been overcoached.
Get into it.
Yeah, just stop being overcoached and be as... Like, I had a shot, I played with some friends the other day, shot in 18, 1 foot out the bunker, tough yardage for me to hit. I think I hit 8 iron, but I had to get it over a lip quick, can't get it there. There's no technique there. And I hit a great shot. I hit an amazing shot. And it's like, they're your best shots. And when I used to talk to a psychologist years ago about golf, when I played a lot more, I couldn't get in my head why the tougher shots in a round of golf were the better shots. And it's because technique goes out the window. When you've got to start the ball on a certain point and do something with it, you're not thinking about it.
Yep.
You're reacting.
It's like basketball. They're not thinking about, when they're shooting a basketball, they're not thinking about, okay, I got to keep my elbow in, just put the fucking ball in the hoop.
Well, we talked about Tiger. The best thing about him, he has all these data points available to him, but working with some guys that work with him at Full Swing, all he wants is carry. That's the only number he wants. I remember Dustin Johnson down in Mexico City. It's at altitude. So obviously the bell curve at which you hit the clubs, how high you hit them, you gain yardage. All he wanted was carry. I just want to know my carry. And I'm like, well, do you want your normalized number, which is when it adjusts to sea level? He's like, fuck no, I'm not. I'm here now this week. And then I was like, right. And he's like,
what do you mean?
I'm where I am. I'm here.
He's like, so get that TrackMan just showing me one number. So we did back then. We put the tile up of one carry number, and he just stood there for 3 days just hitting and then he won the tournament.
He won by a lot that week.
He won by a lot. You remember it, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the amazing part. Like, there's all this data, but the genius of the game, the true savants, make it so easy.
He was 10 clear of third that week.
There you go.
He won by 5, and then he was 10 clear.
That's why I'm always watched the years, because I know you know him. So it's like,
you're right. You're spot on.
But, mate, it's how can you make this simple? And it's hard. And I think that the more you know, the tougher it becomes.
It's really cool if you go look at Tiger Woods' putting routine, his entire professional career. It is identical on every putt down to within a second, and he steps into it, sets his putter next to it, looks at the hole. He takes 2 practice strokes. At the end of his second one, he looks at the hole again, slides the putter in behind, looks at the hole, settles in, looks one more time, and then go. And he does it every time. And it's nuts.
It goes down to his practice, though. If you watch him on the putting green, first drill he always does, he puts the tees up in the gate and he hits one-handed putts.
I would hit that gate every time
with his right hand every time. So it's interesting. He is old school, as you were saying before, because there hasn't been a single person who's had more data and coaching available to him, and he's blocked a lot of it out.
But he knows, though, when the thing that you guys did a great take on with the chipping and the butt divot thing, and he said in that about zeroed out. I'm zeroed out. All of that is relating to the D plane.
When he's wide to wide, he's
But it's attack angle, it's club path, it's all the numbers that the coaches talk to him, and it's talking about the D plane, how the club will move through certain positions and the angles and the loft on the blade, which will create a certain launch angle. And then if you are not zeroed out, so if your attack angle is down, you will see a divot after the ball. And obviously if you're too shallow, you'll hit up on the ball. And he's like, I'm zeroed out, meaning that he is totally neutral on the delivery of the low point of the iron.
Have you ever heard anyone referencing or calling it zeroed out, or is that just a Tiger Woods ism?
I've heard coaches, like the top coaches, will talk about it, but you don't want to be zeroed out for every club. That's what's so interesting, and the changes you have to make to be zeroed out for every club.
You want to compress some clubs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Some of them you want to hit down because of the loft on the blade and the spin you need to generate. But the crazy thing about that is he's getting it with different shapes, which require different positions in the D plane, different flights. And that's, to me, what's crazy. And I always think, and I know I mentioned it earlier, but if I think about Jack Nicklaus and I think about Tiger, and having seen the both of them, I don't know. I know he didn't win more majors than the guy, but there can't be anyone better.
No one's played it better than him, I don't think.
There can't be the understanding. And I think the understanding's there, but it's the ability to keep it in Dustin Johnson's simplicity.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that. I bring it back to hockey all the time, but Connor McDavid on the Edmonton Oilers is a better hockey player than Wayne Gretzky. Is that crazy to say?
I don't know enough about the topic. So
I know what you're saying.
Shoots harder.
It's generational, though, isn't it? Because if Jack
he's not a better player,
there might have been different talents.
He has more skill, right?
Yeah, he's better at the game of hockey objectively right now than anyone's probably ever been.
Because of just
advancements in the sport.
So that
training and the sport and how fast it is, he's doing it. I mean, Brendan, do you agree? You're a hockey guy. Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's probably right. And now that's not to say like if Wayne Gretzky were born the day that Connor McDavid was born,
If Jack Nicklaus was born the same day that Tiger Woods was born, he probably would have the same type of game that Tiger Woods had,
I think
right?
so.
Right.
And Hogan as well,
Same.
and Snead.
He would have they would have figured it out. And been,
Yeah.
It's not a knock against them. It's just, I mean, they know it too.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky's been on TV being like, I can't play the same game these guys play.
These guys
it's
are
crazy.
insane.
They're going
Fast.
22 miles an hour. It's insane.
They're shooting it. It's way harder.
Tom Watson told me we were with McIlroy, and Tom Watson was there, and he was saying, "Oh well, I used to get this ball speed out of Persimmon," and I was like, "Tom,
No, you didn't.
yeah, you didn't, mate."
No, you didn't.
And then he's like, "I was 175 ball speed in Persimmon." I was like, "Well, he's touching 180," and he's like, "Yeah, but I used to sweat," and maybe I don't know, but it's the fact that they still think that way.
Yeah.
You know what I
They're
mean?
competitors.
He is.
He's a big time competitor.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I've been in some serious conversations with that dude.
I hope you trolled him a little bit. 'Cause, you know.
If he'd be a tough person to beat in a fight at 60 odd.
Someone told me, I don't remember who it was, but there was a caddy who said, the difference between Tom Watson. He said, I was caddying for one guy and he would get, maybe it was Norman. I think it was Norman. The guy, I'd caddy for Norman and he would get in a divot and he would say, man, like I can't believe that this ball's in a divot. Look at my luck. And when Tom Watson would be in a divot, he would say, watch what I'm about to do with this ball.
Yeah. I could get behind.
That's the
those
McCabe
sort of
shit.
things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We don't
Before
have that.
look out, say, watch this.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Which I still don't think he ever even said. I've given him that amazing
You should just take
one-liner.
Maybe you write a book about it. Get it out.
I've taken the information he's given me, and I always tell people, Dr. Brett McCabe told me this line where it was like, don't say watch out, say watch this. And I don't think he even said that
You
to me.
condensed everything he taught you into one
Which
cool
is true.
phrase.
It's like, it's the idea. It's what he preaches. But I don't know. Brendan, do you know
You
that
put
he
it in
even
a-
said that line?
You put a bow on it.
I always say that Dr. Brett McCabe said, don't say watch out, say watch this. I'm pretty sure I've just come up with that line. He never did it. No. And that's no disrespect to him. It's his idea. It's his preaching. But
However
he
you
can
got there,
steal
it
that.
doesn't matter. You're there right now.
he
Yeah.
can steal it. He can make that his next book. It's a great book. Kick Anxiety's Ass, Dr. Brett McCabe.
I got to read it.
I bought it.
Yeah.
He bought it from listening to the pod.
Listening to you boys, I was
Nice.
like, I'm going to get that.
It's good shit.
couple things we got to cover. Black Friday, so we won't be
Oh,
talking
wow.
to everybody again until Black Friday, Cyber Monday occur. But this is huge for us. This is kind of our entire year. We do a massive amount of our revenue, of our merchandise, of everything. Black Friday, 20% off, pretty much the entire store. We got all kinds of new items that are coming out that aren't available yet, that are only going to be available. Bang, Black Friday. Then we even have a few more that are only available on Cyber Monday. But the point is, from Friday through Monday, 20% off. Store.barstoolsports.com. This is what supports us. This is what keeps us in business. We put a ton of work into our merchandise because we love merch. We love cool gear. And we really need people's support.
Yeah.
And the money that we get that's over the dollar, every dollar that's over the Barstool threshold this year goes to all of the producers and the behind the scenes people.
That's right. Which
Support
is huge.
them.
Honestly, the people that are listening to this and are watching this, we wouldn't be here without you guys, and honestly, we wouldn't be here sitting here without the guys behind the camera. The fact that they do this much work is actually insane.
Thank you so much.
Alex Bush is laying on the grass right now. He's going to go home, edit up an hour-and-a-half podcast,
You look
put
like
up
one
promos
of
by
his French
fucking 8
girls.
o'clock in the morning. He's not going to sleep tonight. Brendan Jones has not done a single thing for himself over the last however long you've been working here. How long have you been working here now?
We
4
talk about it's
years.
amazing that we're still married. It's amazing. Him being in the
Stunning.
relationship is amazing.
Stunning. It's stunning. So every dollar that goes over the goal, Dave Portnoy is setting a goal. If we hit it, great. If we go over it, it's all getting divvied up again to these guys. So please, if it's not for the support of us, make it for the support of them. This is how we survive now. Dave bought the company back.
Mm-hmm.
And when he bought the company back, he said that we're going to go back to grassroots Barstool Sports, where we're not going to be at the mercy of all of this other outside money and all of these, at the end of the day, if we don't have sponsors, we're still going to get by because of the fans and the people that actually watch our stuff and consume our stuff. They're one of us, just like we rally around people when they're in, when we like brands, we support them. Our fans do that for us, and that's huge for us. We actually have people that support this thing and ride it into the sunset. Alex Bush doesn't have to lay on the ground without a nice little bonus at the end. That now we're going to be able to give that to him.
I
So
bought the Hawaii t-shirt. I like that.
Hawaii
yeah.
t-shirt.
Colin
Nice.
with
I got it with me this week. I'll throw it on.
Oh,
for
Yeah.
I think that raised like $45,000, something
Yeah.
like that.
Amazing.
$45,000. off
Colin
that.
loved that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Nice logo.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Great. Our design team did a great job.
Yeah, it's huge, and we're going to be giving out a bunch of different experiences as we always do. So if you hit certain thresholds of
it's $100.
it might be 300 or
Oh,
something.
okay.
I don't know. We look at our socials and see what it is. I totally forgot we're not doing another show, so I wasn't prepared for any of that stuff.
I know. We're not doing a show because it's Thanksgiving.
I know, but definitely check our socials. We're going to be tweeting
Friendsgiving.
about it. Every year that we do the experience of golfing with Trent and I, it's been a fucking
really fun.
blast.
Yeah. We always
played
thought we were
with-
going to get murdered, and we always end up having a good
We
time.
played with 3 different sets of two-man teams, and we go to Borelli's after,
Yeah.
and it's just the best night. It's one of the best nights of the year. It's just like you see 2 guys that really are nervous about their game because they're playing with like their favorite podcasters and they don't know how it's going to go. And then you kind of get that off of them, and it's like the greatest day of all time. We go and get beers. My dad's bringing out pizzas. It's the whole entire deal. Make sure you do that. Again, it's all supporting the producers and shit. And yeah, and buy Bussum with the boys merch.
Yep.
They're one of the biggest brands, so we have to make sure that we support everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collaborate. Let's all
Yep.
collaborate.
Team.
I'll be doing another couple nights stay at the Pinehurst House.
That's right.
So we're doing all kinds of cool experiences that we're going to give away. So
Danny, I
yeah,
want you to come up with something nice and unique, you know?
Because
last year you did the
round
New
of
York
golf with
one.
me is not. That's not
No, it
good
is.
enough?
It is. Oh, you're going to do an LA
yeah,
one, though?
LA, yeah, Pro Country Club.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. So you and 2 buddies and everything's taken care of, and we're gonna have a day.
Because that's some golf.
What are you
giving
the
away,
one
Trotty?
it was Quaker, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is the real deal.
It's the real deal,
LA
baby.
golf's different.
Everyone wants to come out to LA. It's great.
So I
you
didn't
guys
know
gotta
if
come
you were
out.
doing that. I thought you were doing the New
No,
York
I'm doing
one.
it. I'm
Okay,
doing
I love
it.
it.
Yep.
all right. Last 2
Trotty.
things we got.
Oh, I thought you were cutting up.
Trotty.
I can't see anything, so I thought you were wrapping up, so I was going to say Trotty, bye.
He's
Trotty.
waving out a
It's
bug. I
getting
think.
dark.
We got
Yeah, I
the Azinger news, which you probably dive into a little bit more next week, and then the TGL, which TGL, just quickly, I don't think it's surprising anybody that TGL is just delaying a year. Seemed pretty rushed. Their whole thing collapsed. They got a window that they got to hit, which we talked about a lot. So they're just delaying the entire thing for a year.
I actually sent a couple texts last week to guys. So a couple guys in the league. I was like, I just can't. There's no world where I can picture this happening in 2 months. This is before any of this happened, because it was just like the arena wasn't done. It wasn't clear what the format was. It was just kind of felt very rushed and put together. And so a year more to flesh things out was not a surprise at all.
No.
Yeah, I had heard from behind the scenes people that they were just barely going to get it done in time, and the players weren't going to be able to get access to the facility until like the night before they were going to go live.
They were up against it.
Up against it. Like they need to know what the place is going to look like for them to put on a good product. Like this is prime time golf. You're trying to change the way younger generation watches golf. You better make sure that the players are all in on it, and you need to have that place ready so that they can practice in it, they can play, they can get a feel for it. It would have been a shit show. So yeah, it's a blessing in disguise, honestly, that they get this time to kind of wait. I'm sure it's a headache for a lot of people for the TGL, but when time comes, it'll be worth it.
My question
it's
is, like,
interesting.
Lucas Glover played like a great second half of the year and got a TGL contract. So is he just good
I
for
don't
the
know.
next year, or does he have
We'll
to
see.
does he have to still play good? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we talked a lot today too about how they have a very specific window, which is like Monday night. Monday Night Football's over. Once you get into the early part of the year, and then until like baseball starts, they kind of have that window where golf was going to try to do the Monday thing. If they do Tuesday or Wednesday, it doesn't really work because players' travel schedules. They're playing a lot of times through Sunday. They have a chance Monday, and then they're either off for these next couple of days or they go right to an event or whatever. And if they don't hit that window, if they're going to be delayed for a month or a couple more months, like that window closes, and they just couldn't really do it. So I think it makes a lot of sense. They're pushing it a year, and then Azinger's out.
Devastating.
I think
it's
Trent was a big
devastating.
Zinger guy.
I like Zinger. He makes it interesting. What was it during the U.S. Open where there was he's like the ball's gonna stop on that ridge?
Yeah.
And it was not stopping. He's like it's gonna stop right now. It's gonna stop right now. He was
and the ball's going to come to a rest right there.
he was
and it just
denying
kept
reality
rolling.
despite reality playing out right in front of him.
It's a
I
great
like the
effort,
guy.
but
If
it's
you
just
want-
going to stay on top of that
He makes
ridge
some
there.
mistakes. He rubs people the wrong way. That's what I want in an announcer.
He was like your
We're in the
crazy-
content game, are we not?
Yeah,
if
we
if
are.
we are, then Paul Azinger has a place.
He was like your crazy uncle he'd have really good stories, but then he would say a
best.
couple things where you're like, that's not true.
They're gonna get somebody in there who gets everything right and they know the stats
Yeah.
and
Trevor
doesn't
Emelman.
ever make a mistake. I mean, we love Trevor, but like, a guy like Azinger, I think he has a place because he makes so many mistakes that you're like, this is incredible.
He just said too many things that weren't true, but other than that,
Other than
I
that,
think
he
the
was great.
game's moved on, hasn't it?
yeah, he seemed a
You've
bit
gotta-
removed from it.
You've got to be on that now as a commentator.
I don't think so.
No, the nostalgia of that is, I'm with you, but the viewer's just not going to tolerate it.
I don't think viewers care as much as people think.
Maybe
Why'd
not.
they basically fire him?
Yeah,
then?
true. That's the vote against that for sure. But like when I'm watching a golf tournament, I don't need everything to be perfect.
Crazy. It's been 5 years already.
That was stunning.
I thought-
I was higher than I thought.
It was like a couple podcasts ago. We were like, oh yeah, Paul Azinger's getting that Johnny
Yeah,
Miller
I
seat,
agree.
and it's
Yeah.
been 5 years.
5-year deal
How
right
is
now.
that possible?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's gone.
What?
Interested to see who will replace him. There's not like a.
Who would you think?
I don't know. There's
Not an obvious choice.
there's not an obvious choice.
Do they have to be a player?
I think at this
I
point
think they
do for
still
that.
do. It might. Hopefully, I'm hoping that
Because-
eventually it's not. But I think they do.
So the reason I ask, like, so then your top tier player, if he's lived his life correctly, probably isn't going to need to do that. We just said before,
So rich.
it's 20 weeks on
They
the
should
road.
throw the bag at Phil Mickelson.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
So you got all this travel. Phil's never going to do it. Like they could.
He loves to talk.
Yeah, but so he's going to travel all that amount.
Well, that's the problem. Is we were talking about this off camera. It's like you got to travel a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
it
you've got to
is.
keep in. You got to know what's going on. You got to be in with the equipment guys. You got to
Right.
be in with
Walk
the
the
media.
range and all that.
It's just so you're not going to get a top A+ player to do that because they don't need to do
Good
it.
point.
Yeah.
I think it will be someone who's in their 40s who just stopped playing, like a Jason Duffner. I don't know why that name popped into my mind, but I think it's gonna be someone who hasn't been like in the golf media space, and they're gonna give this guy a run.
But
Think
even
so?
Duffner would have, you'd think, would be in a position where he wouldn't need to do it.
Well, I don't. Yeah, if you're a good enough golfer, you have enough money now where you don't need to do
And
it.
also,
But
at some point, it might be like you just want to cement your legacy aside from just being Jason Duffner. You like you want to be
Maybe.
the announcer.
Well,
You
it
want
goes
to be in
back
the
to what
booth.
we were
you
saying.
wanna-
Like the retirement thing, nobody wants to do it because you're bored.
Yeah.
right.
You want to be still be in the spotlight, still involved in the sport. That's why all these
Second
football
coming
guys.
of their career.
That's I
Yeah.
mean, JJ Watt is on the desk now. It's like that guy doesn't have to do that.
And it's like the most. This one is about as most coveted seat as you can get in golf media.
True.
it is the number one.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the only other one is like Immelman's, but it's not
Yeah,
open.
it's
It's
those
but
two
they're
networks.
pretty similar. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
What happened to Frank Nobilo? Wasn't
He still does stuff. I liked him.
I did too.
liked him too.
Yeah,
See,
I know.
he's a good level of player. I
Yeah.
liked him too.
But he's just. I don't know. I think they need someone with a little bit more. You
All right, we'll do
gravitas.
it.
Pedigree.
Yeah, I guess we'll do it.
We'll do
We'll
a
do it.
rotating cast of us five.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd
just
be
everyone.
You
nice.
see the NV5 Invitational?
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty good.
Everybody's wrapping up. The
You know what
Nats
el-
are coming out.
Yeah, the Nats are coming out. You know what else is coming out?
Ooh.
Oh, the Thunderstorm's coming. You know what else is coming? I think it's next year. HBO Max, Harry Potter series. Did you see this, Trotty? Did you see this fucking series that's coming out? They're
We're done.
diving into the books, Trotty. We might get 5 seasons of Harry Potter. If you don't think that you and I are laying
Riggs,
down
you gotta
on a nice
shut this
comfy
down.
couch, if you don't think we're laying down on a
Hit
nice
it hard.
comfy couch
Hit it
and we're watching, you don't think we're watching the opening night of fucking
Get
Harry
rid of
Potter
him,
on
Riggs.
Max? I'm getting popcorn. We're drinking butterbeer and the whole deal.
Somebody cut the audio off.
That's the show.
You and Taylor Swift
Hard.
over there.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.